New York City, 1920. Prohibition has just begun. For some, it meant temperance. For others, opportunity. The streets of the Lower East Side weren't just dangerous. They were a classroom for those willing to learn. Salvatore Lucania, Sicilian immigrant. 13 years old when he first witnessed how power truly worked in America. Not in banks or ballot boxes, in blood and brass knuckles. The boy watched, and he learned. By 16, Sal had his first arrest. The first of many lessons. Prison cells had revolving doors, if you knew the right people or paid the right price. The system wasn't broken, it was just rigged, and he was learning how to rig it back. Prohibition transformed petty thugs into businessmen overnight. Salvatore moved product, greased palms, kept lookouts sharp. The police weren't enemies, they were overhead costs. Every chase taught him something new about staying one step ahead. Meyer Lansky, Jewish, brilliant, calculating to his core. Where Luciano saw opportunities, Lansky saw systems to exploit. Where Lansky plotted, Luciano enforced. Neither could have succeeded alone. Together, they didn't just rewrite the rules. They replaced the whole damn playbook. His first command was a simple debt collection. 3 men, a bat, no witnesses. What stayed with him wasn't the violence. It was how the room changed when he walked in afterward. Fear had a smell. Respect had a texture. Power had a taste. And he wanted more. The 5 Points Gang, breeding ground for the criminal elite. Sal and Meyer counted pennies, while made men counted dollars. The old guard built gangs. They were building infrastructure. And empires required vision beyond street corners. (1929). They caught him alone. Razor blades, a message from rivals. Left for dead, with his face slashed open. When he survived, they called it luck. When he refused to identify his attackers, they called him Lucky Luciano. The name wasn't about survival. It was about patience. Joe the Boss Masseria, Old World Sicilian. His rules were simple. Loyalty to blood, death to outsiders. Lucky smiled, nodded, and saw everything the old man couldn't. A changing America where ethnicity meant less than efficiency. Tradition wasn't loyalty, it was dead weight. Salvatore Maranzano fancied himself a Roman emperor, educated, sophisticated. He saw in Lucky a modern Brutus he could use against Masseria. But Maranzano missed one thing. Lucky had already outgrown both of them. For months, Lucky played the perfect lieutenant to both men, each believing they controlled him, each planning to eliminate the other, each blind to the fact that they were pieces, not players. On Lucky's chessboard, kings were just obstacles to be removed. April 15, 1931. Nuova Villa Tamaro Restaurant, a friendly card game with the boss. When Lucky excused himself to the bathroom, 4 gunmen entered. Joe Masseria took several bullets. Lucky returned, expressed shock at the tragedy. His hands clean, his path clear. The Castellamarese War had claimed its most prominent victim. Maranzano declared himself Capo di tutti capi, boss of all bosses, a title from the old country, a concept from a dying era. Lucky watched the coronation with quiet contempt. The old man had mistaken the end for the beginning. Two men who understood the future laid plans for a single afternoon that would change American crime forever. No blood feud, no vendetta, just cold, calculated business. September 10th, 1931. 5 months after Masseria's murder. Men posing as federal tax agents entered Maranzano's office. The boss of bosses recognized the double cross in his final moments. Outside, the architects of modern organized crime waited as the final obstacle to their vision disappeared. The old ways died with Maranzano. Where others saw chaos, Lucky offered structure. Not a boss of bosses, but a board of directors. Territory, profit margins, dispute resolution. Men who once shot each other now grudgingly voted. American crime's corporate revolution had begun. Ledgers replaced vendettas. Territories became markets. Murder became a last resort rather than a first response. Lucky's insight was simple, but revolutionary. Violence was expensive. Fear was inefficient. True power came from systems that ran themselves. Nightclubs, protection rackets, unions, gambling, prostitution. The Commission's reach extended beyond anything the old guard could have imagined. At the center of it all, Lucky, surrounded by luxury but focused only on expansion. The party was just the storefront. The real business happened in whispers. While alcohol prohibition ended, Lucky saw the next opportunity. Heroin, global shipping routes, manufacturing connections in Sicily, a distribution network built on the skeleton of bootlegging. It was organized crime's deadliest innovation and its most profitable legacy. Special Prosecutor Thomas Dewey had built his career targeting corruption. In Lucky, he found his perfect opponent. Methodical, patient, he built his case not around murder or racketeering, but prostitution. The empire's most vulnerable flank was also its most profitable. The trial was swift, the conviction inevitable. 30 to 50 years. The sentence designed not just to punish Lucky, but to dismantle his creation. Lucky built an engine that ran without him. Dewey just cut the ignition. Too late. World War II transformed America's priorities. German U-boats threatened shipping. Saboteurs targeted the New York waterfront. Naval intelligence faced an unexpected problem. They controlled the seas, but not the docks. The solution would come from a prison cell. The official record shows Lucky provided intelligence that protected Allied shipping. The unofficial truth, his influence over the docks proved more valuable than patriotic dock workers. His price, a transfer to Great Meadow Prison. His reward would come later. War makes strange bedfellows, even stranger allies. January 1946. Deportation. Lucky stepped onto Italian soil not as a returning son, but as an exiled king. The crowded streets of Naples were a far cry from his Manhattan penthouse, but distance would prove no obstacle to his continued influence. Cuba, 1946. The Havana Conference. Old friends reunited in luxury. Meyer and Lucky, older, wiser, still inseparable in vision. Street kids who rewrote the rules of American crime, now holding board meetings in paradise. From his Italian exile, Lucky's influence never waned. Young gangsters made pilgrimages for advice or blessing. Phone calls to America directed operations an ocean away. He was still pulling strings. The puppet was gone, but the hand behind the curtain never left. Age eventually accomplished what bullets and prosecutors could not. The architect of modern organized crime, reduced to reminiscing over newspaper clippings. The empire outliving its creator. The system running without its designer. Perhaps that was always the plan. January 26, 1962. Naples International Airport. Charles Lucky Luciano collapsed of a heart attack while meeting an American film producer about his life story. The story ended before it could be told. Luciano's true legacy wasn't in headlines or history books, but in the invisible architecture of crime that endures today. From Sicily to Wall Street, from street corners to the digital underground. The modern criminal enterprise, efficient, corporate, global, bears the fingerprints of a Sicilian immigrant who saw beyond tradition to the dark heart of American capitalism itself.